All right. So as you can hopefully see, hopefully let you know, I started recording here, but I'm going to leave this QR code and bit.ly link up on the screen for just 1 more minute so people can go ahead and get their attendance recorded and maybe get that a gift card at the end of the day. Right on the street. Hey, have a good night. Wait, can I help you right here in the beginning? You're messaging me in chat. Are you good? Okay. We'll keep sending that bit.ly link for if more people show up throughout the meeting. But hopefully you all have filled that out. Oh man, we've got a whole classroom in Josh. This is with Josh Barton. This is not the student kickoff, but hi students. You're welcome for the shout out there. All right. Oh, great questions. Starting off, Mark. Yes, I'll get into the games that we're going to play here very, very shortly. Sounds good. Wait, we'll make sure everyone gets the recording afterwards. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully you have had time to fill out that form. If you haven't, just keep filling it out while I start talking to you. But welcome, everybody. I'm Maddie. I'm the Garff Esports Program Manager. Hopefully you know me in some way, shape, or form. You've probably emailed me a bunch of times or met me in person or something along those lines. But yeah, welcome to today. All right. The first things I want you guys to start knowing about or be aware of for this year is the esports playbook that can be seen at that link there. I did send it out in one of my last emails as well, so hopefully you already have it bookmarked and ready to go. Hopefully some of you actually have a physical copy of it. Did like that happen? Have some of you gotten a package from us maybe? Yeah, I see a few head nods and thumbs up, so that's good. Oh, thank you, Logan. I'm glad. So we sent that out in physical copy. Just so you're aware, the table of contents is incorrect in the physical copy, unfortunately, but it is correct in our online version. And as we updated it throughout the year, the online version will be the most correct version. But we just wanted you to have it physically as well, just so you could always have that as reference. And that playbook includes important information on such as grant requirements, contact information, calendar events, how to qualify for finals, which is good to know, fall festival, spring celebration, rule sets, hopefully everything you will need to know. Audrey just sent the link in chat there. So if you aren't able to get that link, go there now, bookmark it. We will update it throughout the year with the most accurate information always. And in theory, it can answer any questions before I can. So it is a great resource for you. And we've actually added a lot to it this year. If you were with us last year, you'll see we've added a whole bunch of resources there at the end on things like how much does it cost to have a esports club, all that sort of thing. Josh, you're totally good. Your students are there. It's fun to have them. They are welcome to come to student kickoff later in September as well. And we'll talk about that later. All right. So just for y'all, we'll go over some of the basics. If you didn't know, Garff Esports, our purpose is to enhance and enrich scholastic experiences through and beyond gaming. So we do have a focus, obviously, on esports and on gaming, but we want students to learn through and then past that. So we do that through providing tournaments at local colleges and universities in Mario Kart, Super Smash, and Rocket League. So yes, sorry, apologies to our League of Legends players. Those are our 3 games this year. We're going to introduce students to programs and businesses that are related to STEAM. So all your STEM things and arts and graphics and that sort of thing. And then providing coding competitions and a free summer cybersecurity program. And those things are kind of new. So we'll talk about those a little bit later. Another basic note is that it is always all lowercase esports or esports with a capital E only if it's at the beginning of a sentence or in a proper noun. That comes from the U, and they get their information from a national source. So like there is reason to believe that it is not spelled esports with a dash or esports with a capital S. from higher up things. If you were able to attend, AJ Dimmick from the U gave a really, really good keynote speech at an IT conference this summer, where he actually talked about that, and it was very interesting. But it is official. That's what we use. So just so you know, that's why we always use it. Okay. More basics, the grant requirements. So I believe a lot of you, but not all of you, have gotten the grant. So if you have the grant, these are requirements. If you don't have the grant, it's not requirements. But if you have the grant, the first requirement is to promote our other programs. Those are Keys to Success, Women Who Succeed, and the Garff Esports Scholarship. I will go over each of these in more detail later, but just so you know, those are kind of the 3 things that we ask you to promote to your students. You need to attend your regional event, and I'll go over where your specific regional event is a little bit later and what is required of you there. You need to attend the spring celebration in some way, shape, or form, which I'll go over later as well. You need to report funding use to us by the end of the year. A lot of you were with us last year, so you know that's just literally telling us how you use that funding, where it ended up going, and then provide IT support as needed. That was added as a making sure everyone has things working thing. That happens a lot where we need IT support, and so making sure it's written in there that we need that is always helpful. All right, things that are not requirements but that we are offering. So these are extracurricular, if you will. Preseason and regular season. So preseason actually starts September 5th, so coming up real quick. We'll go over it later. Last chance qualifiers, so the last chance to get your school to be part of the finals. Space Station Gaming workshops, which we actually have a member of here to talk to you guys about what opportunities will be available. These are for your students. There. Esports workshops put on by the Division of Games at the U. These are slightly more advisor focused workshops for you guys to learn a little bit about the basics of esports and gaming. Coding competitions, which are, I'll talk about a little bit later, but which are going to be part of kind of the regional events and the spring celebration. SOUT, which is Special Olympics of Utah, which I'll go over in a while. Talk about how your school can be involved with that, with esports, and then our summer cybersecurity program. So all of these things available through Garff Esports in some way that are not required of you, but that are available to you and your club. All right, so the games. Yes, going over this now for whoever asked it in chat. No, we are not playing League of Legends. I'm so sorry. But we are playing our 3 games that we played last year, but in slightly different formats. So I wanted to go over that with you guys. The rule sets are available online. I'll show you guys how to access them a little bit later. But the basics are that Mario Kart 8 is being played 4 players with up to 1 sub, and it's just best of 5 races. So you play 5 races, whoever has the better score at the end of those 5 races wins. Yes, Mario Kart does not have a selection for 5 races because they want you to tie for some reason. So you're going to select 6 races, play 5 of them, screenshot it there, and that is the end. That whoever has more points after 5 races wins. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we are no longer doing crew battles. We are playing 3 players with up to 1 sub, and those 3 players play the other 3 players in 1v1s in 9 games. So it's 1v1, 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 and again and again. Best of 3 there, so they play, whoever wins gets 1 point. They play again, whoever wins gets 1 point. They play again, whoever wins gets 1 point. Best 2 out of 3 wins. You always play online games, even if a winner has been determined by 6. So 9 rounds of 1v1s on Super Smash Bros. Rocket League is played 3 players up to 1 sub, best of 5. Always best of 5. I will say this now, the only time we will potentially up this to best of 7 for both Rocket League and Mario Kart is in finals, and that is it. In every other circumstance, it's best of 5. Yeah, we'll go over kind of nitty-gritty of the rule sets later, Logan, but that is a good question. Are we going to ban Steve? We'll talk about it. And actually, we're on questions of the basics, so you know what? I'll just tell you that now. Sam can talk about that too if he'd like, but the basic answer is we're not gonna do anything just yet on banning Steve, just because it isn't too official yet, and Sam can talk more on why that is. And with the tech, there's some things in there, but it's not anything crazy.
Yes, I will chime in real quick.
Go for it.
So TLDR will be trying to stay as close to the norms of Smash Bros. There is always new rules that are going to come up, like the ones that you were mentioning there. So keep an eye out as we go through the season, as we review those rules and make sure that they are actively applicable to a lot of these situations.
Basic answer is not right now. But yeah. Any
Nice
other
soon, TM.
questions? Yeah. Any other questions on the things I've gone over so far? This is a very, very information heavy meeting, and I want to make sure you guys are getting your questions answered throughout. To answer an earlier question, no League of Legends. Can you tell us why no League of Legends? Honestly, there's just not as many of you who can play it as there should be to make us want to play it. It requires at least 5 students to do. A lot of schools have maybe 1 or 2 who are interested enough and good enough, and we don't just have enough schools who are interested. Now, League of Legends, I will say we do have a chat for it on Discord, and there are ways to connect with other schools in Utah who do play it, but it's just getting a team together at enough schools to make it worthwhile.
Maddie?
Good question, though. Yes.
Clarification question on the points for the Smash Brothers games. That's out of 9 points. Does that require each player to play all 3 of their matches, even if the first 2 are won?
Yes. So it's not best of 9. It's actually best of 3, which I know is confusing, but I see what you're saying. But they have to play all 9, no matter what happens. So they'll play the first 3. Whoever wins those first 3, like best 2 out of 3 there, gets 1 point. And then they play 3 again, and then play 3 again. Is that confusing? Sam, can you say it in a way different
Yeah,
than
I can
me?
chime in a little bit for this one too. It is a little bit of a weird format. It is something that we wanted to be able to allow people to play as many games as possible within a week-to-week basis, because we are spreading this out over so many weeks. And a big feedback that we had from last year was you guys are hungry to keep playing as many games as possible. So it's basically a best of 3 that's part of a best of 3 that's just there. So at a whole, basically for the language of it, the first match is 3 games. And those 3 games, if you win the first 2, you just have to play those first 2 and you've won that first match of the series. And then overall, you have to play the remaining matches in that series. So you will have to play up to, what that be, 6 games, 2, 4, 6 games. So 6 to 9 games total.
We're just going to say you always have to play all 9, just to be safe.
But within their individual matches, you only have to play up to 2 if you win the first 2. So it's a little confusing. The rule book will be released in more detail, explaining it a little bit better.
Yes. Mark, great question. We have not gone over that yet, but we will. But yes, those are the correct things that Tori put in chat. Tuesday Mario Kart, Wednesday Smash, Thursday Rocket League, 4 p.m. just like last year. Could you combine them? Yes, absolutely. We're going to be using a brand new platform this year that allows you to reschedule things a lot easier. So we'll go over that in a little bit. Great question, Austin. What about rosters and switching for favorable matchups? That information is also in the rule set, and we'll also kind of talk about with rostering on when we go over our new platform. That's a good one. All right. I'm gonna move on, but because you're asking great questions, but they're about things that I'm gonna go over later. All right. Fall Festival. Regional, okay, part of the Fall Festival, all of the Fall Festival. Let's go over this first. All of the Fall Festival includes regional events, competitive season, last chance qualifiers, and coding competitions. So those 4 things are all part of the Fall Festival, and I'm gonna go over each one of them individually. So regional events, you guys are required to attend regional events with at least 1 team. So that is a Mario Kart team, Super Smash team, Rocket League team. I almost forgot the games that we played, even though I've just said them 10 times. The events run from 9 to 3, with USU Eastern excluded because they are an hour later, so they are 10 to 4. And unified esports teams will compete here. So if your school ends up having a unified esports team, a Special Olympics of Utah team, they will compete at these regional events as well. But these are the dates. You got October 20th, USU Eastern, November 10th, Utah Tech, December 15th, Utah Valley, January 11th at Slick, and February 6th at Weaver State, with the school districts you see here. If you're a charter school, pick the school district closest to you physically, and that is where you look out. With these, you can bring up to 1 team for each event. So we are still limiting the number of students who are able to come to these just because we have a limited space at each of these. So that is up to 5 students for Mario Kart. That's 4 players and 1 sub. Up to 4 players for Smash, 3 and 1 sub. Up to 4 for Rocket League, 3 and 1 sub. And up to 4 for coding competitions, which I'll go over in a bit. The top 2 teams from these events make it to playoffs. So last year it was top 1, this year it is top 2. To answer a question, why so staggered on these dates? For my personal sanity, mostly. That is part of it. And part of it is so that we just have more time to plan each one and make them all the best event that they can be. Can we bring more students? Unfortunately, no. If they are not on one of these teams, they can't be here. We just don't have the room for them all. So that is a max of 17 students you can bring. Exceptions will be made for adults from your school who might want to be present besides yourself. But we can't handle a bunch more students, like the numbers you guys were bringing to the spring celebration, which was amazing.
Maddie, quick question.
Yes, sir.
So if we, like, for example, my team, we had 1 team for Mario Kart and 1 team for Super Smash Bros, but we had no team for Rocket League for the regional event. Could I bring in more students to watch as a substitute, or is it only competing players?
Only competing players. I'm so sorry.
Okay. That is okay.
Yeah, I know they want to be there, but we also a fun fact for you all, if any of you are middle school or junior high attendees who could not be here yesterday, we are no longer requiring middle schools and junior highs to attend their regional event, but we are offering it to them if they would like to be there. So if you guys don't bring a team, we're offering it to middle schools and junior highs. So we want to make sure that everyone there is competing if possible. Great question, though. I understand your logic, but unfortunately they have to be competing. All right, speaking of competing, let's talk about the competitive season. Preseason starts next week, September 5th, and it goes through September 28th. It is just for funsies. It matters for nothing. It is not required in any way. It doesn't require for you to do preseason, to do regular season, any of that. It is just so you guys have the opportunity to maybe get some games in if you already have students. I'm looking at you, Josh Barton. I know you have students. If you want to play some games, and if you want to get used to our new platform. The regular season goes October 3rd through February 2nd. That's 12 weeks of play, which I know does not math out to actually be 12 weeks of play. We tried to give you some leniency on fall breaks and winter breaks, especially. And you should actually have, even with those 2 breaks kind of factored in, 2 weeks that you don't have to play, so that there is more time. I don't know why my camera's out of focus here, sorry. So you have more time and more opportunities to play, even if there's staggered times where you and the other team are not able to play against each other. The schedule is up here, like I said earlier: Mario Kart Tuesdays, Smash Wednesdays, Rocket League Thursdays, all starting at 4 p.m. Again, we have a much better system for being able to reschedule that if you'd like to make it earlier or later or a different day or anything like that. And all teams are going to be playing in the same brackets. Last year we split it up by size of school and middle schools. This year we are not doing that. All of you are playing in the same bracket. You're all together. All of you. You don't really need to worry about divisions. The only reason divisions will come into play is because that's kind of who we are putting our finals spots for. So no matter where they land, the best 5A, 6A school will, or the top placing 5A, 6A school, will make it to finals. The top placing 1A, 4A school will make it to finals, and the top placing middle school or junior high will make it to finals. Some good questions in the chat. For preseason, can we join later? Absolutely. You can join whenever your team is ready to play. You can join in preseason. It is pretty short, so whenever you go there. How do we know what division your school is? It's by the size of your school. It's online, honestly. That's how I look it up and see. Some of you, if you're a charter school, I honestly don't know. It'll be determined by the size of your school.
I do want to hit on the preseason really quick. So
Mhm.
basically, each week we will have all 3 of the titles on. I believe we're going for that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday structure. This is your opportunity just to learn the platform, to sign up for things. They will be done on a week by week basis. So if you miss the first week, you can still sign up for the second week, or you can miss the first and second, you can sign up for the third. It's basically sign up as you want. There will be no points. This isn't an ongoing series. It's a chance for you to play 3 games a week with your school, learn the platform, get your students involved with it, and just answer any questions and concerns you might have.
Exactly. You'll always be able to join. We mentioned open to rescheduling. Yeah, I think most people are going to be open to rescheduling between 2:30 to 3:30. We just have some schools that aren't out till 3:30. So it'll depend on the school and who's available, and you can make future reschedulings pretty easily in our platform, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Last chance qualifiers. Like I said earlier, this is the last chance for your team to make it to finals, to make it to playoffs, is what I'm calling them now. These are going to be in February on these dates after school. So February 13th, 15th, and 16th. You'll notice we skipped the normal Super Smash Bros. Day, and that's because we wanted you guys to have Valentine's Day open and not take that night from you guys. But February 13th, Mario Kart, February 15th, Rocket League, and February 16th, that Friday, is Super Smash Bros., which is not its normal day, but that's all right. They'll be played after school in a single elimination bracket, so as soon as your team is out, they're out, and you can head out. It's online, like our online division. Excuse me, like our online competitive season. The top 3 teams from these events will move on in Super Smash Bros. And Rocket League. The top 2 teams in Mario Kart will move on to playoffs because we're saving that last team for our Special Olympics team, for a unified esports team. So in case you were wondering, this is what the top 16 will look like for each game. The red are the regional events, first place and second place. The blue are the online season, and the purple are the last chance qualifiers or Special Olympics teams. If you make it in one of these areas, you cannot make it in another, going down in that order that I just said. So if you make it in a regional event, you cannot make it in the online season. That's it. The last chance qualifier is your last chance to make it. So only if you didn't make it in the previous 2 can your school make it. And that is not just one team at your school, not just the varsity team and your secondary team can make it. No, it is your school can make it only one time in each event. The only exception to this is if you have a Special Olympics of Utah team, because they are kind of in their own bracket. Will the playbook be updated with last chance qualifier specific dates? Yes, it will. Online. I can't physically come and alter your playbook, unfortunately. But yes, it will be available online. All right. And coding competitions. These will take place in person at the regional events. There's no bracket starting at the regional competitions, but if they compete regionally, then your team will kind of get a sneak preview of what the competition will look like at the spring celebration. There are up to 4 members of a team, and in almost every scenario, they need to bring their own device to participate. There might be a few where we have some computers available, but I don't want you to count on that and then that not to be given to them. So plan on having them bring their own devices in order to participate these. The final competition will take place in the spring celebration. Chromebook is A-okay to answer that question. All right, we're going to go over questions on it. So I see some in the chat. So if my high school team makes it, my middle school team can't. Stephen Lowe, because you're at Pinnacle Canyon, yes, Pinnacle Canyon can only go one time. If you are 2 separate schools, like Canyon View High and Canyon View Middle, those 2 can both go, but because Pinnacle Canyon is just one, yes, sorry, you can only make it one time, Pinnacle Canyon. Love you guys. What language will we be doing for the coding competition? More information coming soon. More information coming in. Okay, any other questions on all the things I just spurted at you for the fall festival? You can come off mute if you'd like, or in the chat.
I have a quick question.
Absolutely.
So if for, let's say, the regional event we won in Super Smash Bros, can
Mhm.
we compete in the second chance bracket for Mario Kart?
Yes. Yes, that is a-okay. You can only make it one time per game. So you could be in all 3 games potentially, if you're skilled enough.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great clarifying question. Just looking at all of the nerding out going on in the comments here. That is a great question, Mark. If you don't have a single team make it, are we not invited to the spring shindig? You're making it to finals and coming to the spring celebration are 2 totally separate things. In fact, I'm about to go over the spring celebration now, so I'll go over that to kind of give you an idea. So before the spring celebration, what will happen to the finalists is first there will be a seeding bracket that will take place. That'll be these dates in February. Again, it'll be updated on the playbook. We just didn't know these when we printed it for you. The seeding bracket will determine your positions in the playoffs bracket. Once we've had a seeding bracket, then we will have our playoffs. The playoffs will take place February 26th through March 1st. These will be double elimination, which is why we kind of need that whole week. And the final matches will be the ones that take place live on stage at the spring celebration. So not all 16 teams will make it to compete on stage, but they will get the chance the week before to be in playoffs. Or this week to be in playoffs. Then the spring celebration itself will have the final matches. Great question, Josh. I'll go over that in just a minute. The final matches of the playoffs, it'll have the coding competition, so your students who may have practiced at the regional events. It'll have an advisor competition, maybe, depending on how you guys filled out that question on the form. I hope that we have one and that we can kind of have it play out for the most part the week before the spring celebration, and then have the finals at the event for our final competitors there. It'll have, of course, scholastic competitions, notable guest speakers, hands-on workshops and activities and booths and all those sorts of things for your students. So it is not just for our finalists to be at, it is for everyone to be at. Attendance is required as part of the grant. So we want you guys to be there with as many people as you want to bring. Like Audra said, bring your whole school, bring your families, bring whoever wants to be there. It is an open, public, and free event. Plan for March 2024 with this. We will be giving you an exact date as soon as we can. I know that transportation is a thing. Okay, going to questions on this. Josh, you asked a great one. The final matches, meaning the grand finals, or which matches are the final matches. Honestly, it's whatever ones we have time for. Currently, we are planning on kind of the final 2 to 3 matches taking place for each bracket at the spring celebration in person, but we're still kind of timing out exactly how that will look. So for now, I'm saying the final few matches. Exactly. Double elimination is something we really, really wanted to do for you guys. So you had amazing opportunities there for some really cool comeback stories, hopefully. And so just it takes more time. So we can only do a few matches. Other questions about the spring celebration? Those were good ones that I already got in the comments here in the chat. Yeah, Josh, to answer your question, yeah, he's saying like the final, we call it the top and then bottom. And then the grand finals. That is kind of what we're planning for at the moment. But we're going to be figuring out timing as we come up to it. Where will it be? Do we know yet? Did I miss it? I'm going to say Salt Lake City, and I'm not going to give you any more information on that just yet. Plan for Salt Lake City, March 2024.
Say, listen, the athletic departments at these colleges, we just need to get some dates from people. That's what's holding us up.
Yep. Oh yeah, Sam put a really good diagram of what we're thinking so far in the chat. Somewhere cooler than the U. Don't say anywhere cooler than the U. We'll see. Yeah, like Audra said, it just is up to other calendars that are not us. Great questions coming in. All right, I'm gonna move on to some of our other opportunities. feel free to keep putting questions in there if you have them. So we have a lot of other opportunities for you throughout this whole school year. We have Space Station Gaming Workshops, Division of Game Esports Workshops, Unified Esports, Special Olympics of Utah, Cybersecurity, a UDOT Conference, Keys to Success, Women Who Succeed, Ken Garff Esports Scholarships. All of these I'm going to be talking about. Stop me when it gets confusing. Don't stop me right now, which I know it already is confusing. All right, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about are Space Station Gaming Workshops. Sam, who's been hopping on a whole bunch throughout this whole thing to help us out, is from Space Station Gaming, and so he's going to talk to you guys about what these opportunities are for your students to learn about streaming.
Howdy. Yes. So for the SSG workshops, we are basically coming into this, and with SSG's kind of place in esports, we're trying to position it as like, here's a little bit of brief about like what esports basics are. I'm sure some of you have seen that giant diagram of basically like, here's esports, here's all the jobs you can get from it, and it's like thousands of jobs. So for esports basics, we're going to talk through and expand a little bit of the students' horizons, tell them that esports is more than just being a player. There's all sorts of these awesome opportunities within like marketing, sponsorships, player management, even like therapists around it, and like lawyers, all of these new opportunities that are around esports that go beyond being a player. This will also entail some of kind of the business side of esports, where the money comes from, and talking through some of the more logistical things of esports, what events you can be a part of. We can talk a little bit about dream hacks and the constant circuit of events that go around. And yeah, a lot of really cool stuff on that one. Next one is basically on the 30th, we're going to bring in our general manager from Space Station Gaming, as well as some of our operations crew, and do a pseudo panel of basically a day-to-day of running an esports team. Have our GM talk about what it looks like to manage players, what it could be like in terms of their contracts to watch out for, as well as what it looks like to execute on a partnership. What does it look like on the content side of things? How do we create those awesome videos that you see that come out of Space Station Gaming? And once again, kind of reiterating a lot of there's more to it than being a player. November 20th, these are next three panels are when we really dive into more of the broadcast oriented stuff. And we really started kind of picking out a lot of talent from these three workshops for the spring celebration, and bringing the students that have learned a lot in these three workshops to the spring celebration itself, and basically have tryouts for the spring celebration to work behind the scenes. On-screen talent, pretty self-explanatory. We're going to teach the students how to be casters, hosts, analysts, some of those big wig celebrity influencer style things that you see at like VCT and like Rainbow Six events, etc. And give them a chance to go home, record a session over a Smash Bros broadcast, help them eliminate some of the ums and the ifs and the buts, and really focus on telling a story and a narrative, and then bring in a professional caster to kind of talk through it as well. And give them that industry connection. If you guys were around last year, we did something very similar. We're going to bring it back this year for the students as well. It was a huge hit and everyone seemed to enjoy it. The next two are basically an intro to the broadcast software itself, and that'll be for vMix and OBS. And we're going to teach the technicals of what it takes to actually run a broadcast. And then on the 22nd, we're basically going to say, good luck. It's time to run a test stream and give everyone a chance to get that true hands-on experience, ideally within our studio or with our partners over at Catalyst, to do some really cool stuff and get that hands-on experience.
Any questions for Sam while he's here to talk about these? These are student focused workshops, but they're really, really cool. I don't know if you guys ever got to watch our stream from last year of our students shoutcasting, but oh my goodness, they were so amazing. My dad watched it and he said, who are those shoutcasters? They're so good. So
logistics
really
of
cool.
This, it'll be all virtual and online. The only exception is probably that test run broadcast where we want to ideally bring them into the studio. We'll be having it in partnership basically with in conjunction with a Discord. So we'll basically have all the students on, we'll be presenting it via Discord while also streaming it out to Twitch and YouTube. And the last 20 minutes of it are consistently going to be reserved for students to ask questions, understanding with it. And if you want to prepare your students to come with a series of questions, that would be fantastic. Sometimes we have those last 20 minutes and it's an awkward lull for the last 5 or 10 minutes of it, but this is their chance to ask any questions that they want and a chance for us to really answer them. We're scheduling them to be about an hour long each, sometimes 90 minutes. But still giving that plenty of leeway at the very end, and expecting them to probably go that 90 minutes to an hour or 2 hours to be able to answer all the questions. If people want to stay around, we are planning on being able to stick around and ask questions or answer their questions as well. So
Perfect. I'm seeing so much love in the comments. I'm so excited. This will be awesome. Super, super good. I keep seeing the comments like I'm a Twitch streamer. You guys notice that? Not the chat. Wow. So funny. Okay. So the next opportunities we have available for you, yeah, like and follow, please. The next opportunities we have for you are the Division of Games Esports workshops. We don't have exact workshops themes, I guess, available for you just yet, but we have the dates. These are more advisor focused. Those students are more than welcome to attend, but they're going to be more things like, what tech should I get? How do I run a bracket? What are the basics of who I should play and why in Super Smash? Things like that, that you guys might want to know, that you indicated some of you might want to know last year. So good dates to have on your calendar. These will be online at 4 p.m. Mondays. All right, Unified Esports. Boston, are you on today?
I am.
Woohoo! I'll let you talk about it.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Boston. I am the manager of secondary schools for Special Olympics Utah. So I do all inclusive sports for high schools across the state. We are very excited to be working with Garff Esports to be offering Unified Esports. And so if you've never heard of Unified Esports, Unified Sports were founded in 1989. And the whole idea behind them is that when you practice and play together, it's a quick path to friendship. And so within Special Olympics Unified Sports, people with and without intellectual disabilities get put on the same team to compete together. So what that looks like in the esports we'll be offering will be Mario Kart. It's teams of 4. So you have 2 special education students and 2 students from general education classes. And it looks just like any of your other teams that you have competing. They'll practice, be meaningfully involved in everything, and they will compete at those regional events for the opportunity to go to the spring celebration and playoffs. So that's a little bit of an overview of Unified Esports. I have done this since I was in high school, so I am happy to give suggestions or help if you need questions on who to reach out to at your school. But I'm always here to help you guys make those teams to get them to compete.
Good question in the chat here. Are you looking for each school to have a unified team? Not necessarily. It's only if your school has the capacity to do it. Is that the best way to say that, Boston?
Exactly. Our goal is to get into every school in any sport. So maybe not esports, put me in touch with the special ed teacher.
Yeah, definitely reach out to Boston. It's a really, really cool opportunity, and we're hoping to have some really cool opportunities available, especially for our Special Olympics teams. I can't say what those are, but but we are looking to have that. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to Boston. Hopefully do it sooner rather than later, just so we can know who has a team and get you going, get you set up for the year. All right. Great question, Ben. Is the only opportunity for SOU teams to compete at the regional events no online games scheduled? None that are SOUT specific. You are welcome to host them as a team online, absolutely. But the SOUT specific brackets will be at the regional events.
Yeah, and I also get updates for other states that do like weekly competitions, and they're always looking for other states to hop in. So I can connect you to some of those as well if you want them to have the opportunity. I'm gonna read through the comments now too. So when we classify Special Olympics athlete, it's a range. So typically on their IEP, it will say intellectual disability. But our like guidelines, if they have if they have a general learning limitation and then a instructional skills limitation. So maybe that makes sense to you, but basically if they're a little low in academics and a little low in daily living skills, they would be an athlete. Yeah, and same for that next question. It really ranges. It depends on what that student wants to be known as or what the special ed teacher would think would be their proper classification. Because we don't diagnose. We just provide the opportunities.
It's a really great opportunity. So definitely reach out to Boston if you guys are interested. He's great. SAT's great. Love it. All right. The next opportunity we have available for you guys is cybersecurity, planned for summer of 2024 for cybersecurity classes for free for your students. We'll have it for middle school and high school students, and we'll have kind of an introduction for them to cybersecurity, and then some career exploration into what cybersecurity could possibly lead into and what those skills could possibly lead into. We'll definitely be sending out more information on this as we get closer and closer, but I just wanted to put it on your minds now that this will be a thing we offer in the summer. And we have a UDOT conference coming up. I believe we have Lynn Yoakum to come talk about that.
Yes, we do. Yes, and can I do a share on a couple things, Maddie?
Oh, absolutely. I'll stop my share here. You should be able to go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What we wanted to do is we wanted to invite the students out to our UDOT conference. We used to do that and then several of the years past, and it was a lot of fun to have the students come. They kind of like to hang out and see the big machines, and we did a coding competition one year. This year we wanted to do a whole student integration. So if you see right down here on the registration, we've got a student experience built in for every single day of our UDOT conference. And this, I have to apologize, it's not the UDOT conference this year, it's the Utah Transportation Conference, because we have UTA involved. We have all this, we have anyone that has anything to do with transportation, which is your cities, it's your school districts with busing transportation, any of those sections. So it's the whole Utah Transportation Conference, and it's reaching out to STEM students to show them what opportunities that is in transportation, what it is that they can do, and what items would be fun for them. And we really like doing this. I'm going to show you a couple pictures. This is one year, and this is Carlos. He's our director. He loves having students there. So we want to pick up all the costs of your students coming into this conference. We have room for about 500 students this year. Normally they gave me room for about 50 to 60 students, and this year they're giving room for as many as really 500 is what we've got to be able to bring. It's a great conference. We feed them all for free. You can see we have our student section right here. This was during one of the meals that they were coming in. We give them a nice swag bag. We've got a different lanyard for them so that they know that they're students when they go out. We're going to do a lot of the same. We're going to have them go through the careers and everything that we have maybe for UDOT, and we want to add in some more transportation career sections. Of course, we're going to do our fiber testing and our crimping to see if anybody's got faster since the spring celebration. See if they can get a better time and show them any of those. But these are just some of the shots that we had going through to show the careers. And we've got a new soldering section, which Alexia is going to show you here in a minute. But as you can see, we have the 3 dates. You can come for any section of those 3 dates. We also wanted to add in a game competition to have you game against our transportation professionals. And so it was so that you get a chance to do some one-on-one with somebody that's in transportations, to be able to ask them any questions that you might have. What experience, what school, because within transportation, you can go right out of high school and UDOT will pay for your college. After I think you've made your 6-month probation section, you can put in to have $5,000 a year paid for while you're working at UDOT. So if you haven't got a scholarship or anything, the students really like this one. We actually had several come through from the spring celebration that are now kind of our trans techs. So you're looking at all your traffic signals out there, all the big snow plows. We're going to be bringing them right into the building. We're going to be having some drones showing some of our new video sections. And we'll have zones just like you kind of did at the spring celebration, where they go through and do their ticket. And then they're going to get then they're going to get a nice little badge on it. They can then turn that in for a final prize. So this is, I think, going to be really great for the students. Every time the students come in, they have a lot of fun. They're going to be allowed to go to any of the presentations, any of the exhibitors. I mean, everybody else pays around $400 for this conference, and they're opening it up free for any of the students to be able to come through. And they have a really, really good time. We usually have about 2,000 professionals attend this. And so that's really good and a really good interaction. We also had several students get internships by going around and talking to the vendors last time with it. The game that we're going to do the competition is going to be Mario Kart. We've also got soldering that we've changed to a new transportation thing. And I'm going to stop sharing and let Alexia share what the badges, the soldering section is going to look like. And what the registration. So instead of having to register your students on this spot where it comes down and asks you for registration, you're not going to have to do that. You can see the conference attendees there. We will do all the student registration for you so that we don't do anything that goes back on what's happening with student privacy or anything like that. So we just need to know how many students that you're bringing so we can make sure we've got badges and swag bags for them and everything that they get, and we've got enough prizes for that. So you don't have to
I dropped the form. I dropped the form that I shared with the middle school teachers yesterday in the chat. So if you're interested, you can fill that out to get your email over to Lynn and Alexia.
That'll be good. Okay. And Alexia, are you going to share?
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you just great.
All right, that sounds good. So let me just share this. Okay.
So that's our badge.
So this is the mock-up version of what the badge is going to look like. That we're going to be having the students solder. And it's going to blink yellow, which is going to be really fun. And basically, we're going to teach them how to solder it, and then it's going to be a pin that they can take with them during the conference. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
We do have a media release that's on there that if you're coming, we will send to you for that.
And that's going to be right here. I can.
Sorry, I stopped your sharing,
link in the
Alexia. I
chat.
wasn't sure if you were looking for that. But go ahead and throw that link in chat.
Yeah,
And
I'll go ahead.
I think we can share out. We can share out all that information once we get the interest forms back, I think.
And that would be good. Oh, and transportation, UTA, because they're part of the transportation field, is going to open up all of the buses and the transit for free for the students to ride into the conference if they would like. If you're coming from a rural school and you would like to attend the conference, let us know. We're looking at some of our sponsors at the conference to maybe help you with busing and bringing your students to the conference with that, because they would like to offer some of the rural schools this opportunity as well with that. So lots of opportunity, and I think it will really surprise you, this conference. It's kind of a big deal. We had the governor there with us last time, and he did a nice shot with all the students, and that was, yeah, that one right there. And he was right there. He was really generous with that. So I think it's a really good opportunity for students to start thinking about jobs after school. What could they do? What skills do they need? And where can they be at? And we want to do that competition between the professionals and a sign up, so that each day that they can go through and we can see who will be the winner. So we'll have qualifiers for the times to go through that. And then we'll take the top qualifiers at the end of the day for the main competition. We have a really huge screen that we're hoping to be able to get permission to put it up on. We're talking, it covers half of the big center in there. That's where all the main speakers are going out. We're not quite sure how that would work, so we've got to do some trials, maybe on Sunday, while we're setting it up, while we're trying to set up all that section. But UDOT and UTA and the state is just really excited to have students there. So thank you. And if you have any questions, let me know, or forward them in that chat section.
Looks like the first question we got, are the students' parents allowed to come, or it's just for students?
Yes, we could let if any parents or any adults that want to come and tag along with the students, absolutely. And we had a lot of students that had adults that had a lot of their parents were actually one of the employees in the transportation industry. So that was kind of fun too.
Yeah, definitely an awesome opportunity. We love UDOT. They've done some really cool stuff for us. If you were able to attend any of their things that they did at the spring celebration, the cable crimping and the soldering, the kids had so much fun at. So definitely take advantage of this opportunity if you can.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you. All right. Before we move on, questions about all of these opportunities, the cybersecurity, Special Olympics, anything like that as well. I hope we got most of them answered because as we were kind of in those things. So let's talk about our specific opportunities. So if you don't know, Garff Esports is part of a nonprofit called Success in Education, and we have a few other programs that you guys might be interested in. So the first is Keys to Success. This is one that we asked you guys to promote to your students. It is a college and career readiness tool. And I'll kind of talk to you a little bit about how it works. Just so you're aware, we're probably going to go a little bit over that 5 p.m. 1 hour mark. If you need to head out for any reason, this will be recorded so that you can see it later. There you go. So Keys to Success, how it works is 6th through 12th graders can sign up on our website or download our app. Once they do, they're able to go on, they're able to select their interests or go through our interest profiler. And when they do, they'll be introduced to a lot of scholarships and opportunities that are related to the things that they like. And then they are able to explore those things. So career and higher ed options, internships, everything on there, and then gain points for everything that they do. I'll talk about what those points lead to in a minute. For those of you who have juniors and seniors, they're able to use the college application checklist. So this is a really easy tool for them to see kind of where they are in the steps of applying to each college. So it reminds them when it might be a good time to go take a tour of the campus, of when the early application deadline is, and when the normal application deadline is for all of the colleges that they're interested in. And this is in partnership with the Utah System of Higher Education, so USHE. So really amazing opportunity. And if they apply through our app or site, they're able to use the fee waiver codes. So they will not have to pay any money to apply to any college or university in the state. Public ones, I should say. There are also tutorials and guides for FAFSA. I know when I was a student, I had no clue what FAFSA even was or why it was important. So having that on there is very, very helpful for a lot of our students. And then being able to compare institutions back and forth. Should I go here? Should I go there? What options do they have at these different places? Is also a really, really useful tool. That one is only, I will say, for juniors and seniors. So if you have younger students, they might not see this option on their app or on the website, but that is why. But everyone will be able to see scholarships and opportunities that are available to them. So students can search school-specific scholarships and statewide scholarships and opportunities that are on there for them, and then receive new notifications when ones that are in their field of interest go up. So for example, last year we had shoutcasting opportunities, and I actually put that on the Keys to Success app. And some students who might not have been in your esports club were able to apply to that through learning about it through the app. So interesting, really cool things are on here for your students to learn about. That's why we highly recommend them getting on the app. It's totally free. And then they can redeem any of the points they get on the app just from applying to scholarships, clicking around on the app, filling out surveys, figuring out what they want to do with their future. Anything that helps their future, they can get rewarded with in the now. So for every 25 points they earn, they're able to get a prize redemption. Last year, we had over 15,000 prizes redeemed throughout the state. So pretty amazing opportunities on them. There's some food on there, Arby's, Denny's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A was on there. some opportunities. So you can see Hang Time Adventure Park is on there. Last year, Tuacon tickets were really, really popular. You can get 2 Tuacon tickets. And they can get up to 3 of each prize. So if they want to go to Tuacon 3 times, they can go to Tuacon 3 times. If they want Wendy's 3 times, they can get Wendy's 3 times. But that is throughout the school year how many times they can get that. And then if you're at one of our more rural schools, they'll have unique opportunities for you because you might not be able to get to Utah Olympic Oval, let's say. You'll have opportunities for Amazon and Maverick gift cards as well. And at the end of the year, if they have points that they're not sure where they want to use them, they can use them to enter into our car giveaway. So each June we give away 1 free car to a student who is over the age of 16, specifying that now they have to be able to drive their car. We'll give away 1 free car to that student. So awesome opportunities for these students for free, no cost to them, nothing. All right. Our next program that we have here at the Success in Education Foundation is Women Who Succeed. So the purpose of this is to provide opportunities for girls and young women to grow confidence and leadership skills. So it is a female mentorship program with the specific idea of having them gain skills, right? So how it works, if you have 7th through 12th graders, they'll be considered junior mentees. And if you have 11th graders through 12th graders, they will be considered mentees. And everyone gets mentored on down. So our mentors are women in their field. These are some crazy, insane, amazing women. I cannot express to you enough how awesome they are. CEO of like the Red Wallets is one of our women. She's so cool. CEOs, CFOs, just really, really cool opportunities for women on here. So the mentors mentor the mentees, and then down to the junior mentees. So there's some awesome opportunities for your female identifying students, excuse me, to become mentees of some really, really cool people. Applications will open January 1st. So as we get closer and closer to that date, I'll remind you guys of this. Then they'll have some events and opportunities starting in May 2024 to kind of get them introduced to the program. And then the program itself will start in September 2024. That's where they'll be officially paired with a mentor, and they'll start actually having monthly meetings with their mentor. So just so you kind of know the impact of it, last year we had 270 mentees with about half of the school districts in all of Utah represented. We gave away $90,000 in scholarships, so there's some amazing opportunities for these women once they are in our program. And then 34 internships and job placements for those older mentees who were able to learn about their field of interest through the women they were paired up with. This is especially really good for your women who are interested in male-dominated fields, which any ladies you have in your club are already involved in a male-dominated field. So congrats to them. But please make sure they know about this opportunity because I have seriously seen it change people's lives, and it is just so fun. And again, I'll let you know more about that as we start getting to January. The last opportunity that's kind of related to our foundation that I want to make sure you're aware of is the Garff Esports Scholarship. This has been a thing in the past, but we just want to make sure you guys are aware of it this whole school year. Students who are going to the U, so they have to already be accepted at the U and be working with the Division of Games and are your Garff Esports student can get this scholarship. So it is very niche, but it is for you guys. They can start applying in October. So as soon as they are accepted to the U, they can start applying for this scholarship. They have to be getting a Bachelor of Science in Games, a minor in Games, or a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science with an emphasis in Entertainment Arts and Engineering. Those are the 3 things they have to be a part of in some way in order to get this scholarship. And they have to, of course, be a Garff Esports student, be part of your clubs. And once they are at the U and they are no longer a part of your club, they can still continue applying for the scholarship. It is renewable. So really awesome opportunity for any of them who are going to the University of Utah and are interested in making the games that they play. And so those are the 3 things that we ask you guys to promote. Questions on those? You're good. You're like, I know keys to success and women who succeed, and I'm well aware of all of the scholarship. You are? Great. I'm gonna move on. Love it. All right. Contact info. I want to make sure you guys are able to contact each other if you ever need to do that, to be able to get in contact for games or for anything like that. First place and best place to do that is the Discord. You'll get pretty much immediate answers on there. So that first link is our Discord link. And then the advisor directory. So this is where your guys' contact info is held. It is password protected, so please don't share this password out. But if you go to that site and access the directory, you should be able to contact any of the other advisors that you might need to. And then contacting us. So if you are interested in having someone come and talk to your students in person, talk to you in person, if you're interested in learning about keys to success more or women who succeed more, basically anything that isn't a direct question that can be answered through an email, you can reach out to your regional manager. You'll notice that we have a bunch of them over here listed for the different school districts in Utah. But if you're in that little blue area, that's the only one that is not covered currently, just go ahead and talk to me. We are just hiring for that position currently, so that is why. And then for any general questions, go ahead and email the kengarfesports@siuutah.org email. That is where I've been emailing you from almost always. Please make sure it's part of your contacts. I noticed a lot more people responded to the one that was from my personal one because I think you weren't getting the ones from Garff Esports. So please make sure it's part of that. That it's not going to spam. And yeah, just make sure you're aware of all of that and how to contact us. A good question is if you have co-advisors or co-coaches, only your one who signed up will be available on the advisor directory. If the contact needs updating, you can actually go in and request it to be updated. It's kind of interesting, but you can also email me and I can get that. Hopefully you don't need to, I don't know. There's not a good way for me to put both of you on our website, unfortunately, but go ahead and join our Discord. It's always a good place to have multiple people. I think Audra's going to send out the Discord link. Yeah, perfect. All right. Let's get into the nitty gritty here a little bit. So a good question that came up earlier that we said we'll talk about later. Thanks, Rio. You prompted this way early on. Is how do we sign up for preseason? How do we sign up for the regular season? So that is going to be through our new platform that we're using called LeagueSpot. Sam is going to talk to you guys about this because he's actually going to be kind of one of our tournament admins on this.
Howdy, guys. So for LeagueSpot, I'm coming in on the SSG side and helping out with a lot of the tournament operations for this and facilitating the entire conversation between y'all, the players, and one another. So super excited to have it. Very happy to get off of the spreadsheet platform that we had managed to build. It was a stopgap solution, and thankfully it truly was a stopgap solution. So this year we have moved over to LeagueSpot, and there is a lot of wonderful things about it, mainly that it is an actual tournament platform. It is a very simple sign-up process where you will basically have to create an organization, and then from that organization, you will create individual teams underneath that organization. Each one of those teams, there is specific naming conventions that you can find in the rule sets. We ask that you keep it pretty straightforward and simple. For example, I don't want to have something like, actually, let me bring up the specific rules for names so I don't accidentally misquote myself. Canyon Heights High School CHS Team Number 1 Mario Kart is a perfectly appropriate name. We do not want to have like the Canyon Cougars 1 or the Cougars or High School 238. We don't know what that is. And if you sign up with that, then we're going to have to message you and it's going to be a whole thing and we're going to have to figure it out. Failure to follow these very specific naming conventions may result in an individual game loss. So there is definitive punitive measures if you do not have a correct name. So please follow that as best as possible. If you don't know what that is, it is fine for you to create an organization for now. And then we'll just go through and we'll have that messaging process before the tournament begins. That is the wonderful part of this preseason of us working out all of the kinks. With that, all of those links on the site there or on the slide there, I believe the first one, KGE LeagueSpot, should lead you directly to an organization sign-up page that will give you the specific step-by-step of basically you're going to create a username, you're going to create an organization, and then you're going to create your individual teams underneath that, and then sign up your teams for the preseason itself. There is currently the first week of preseason tournaments that are publicly accessible for Mario Kart. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Rocket League. Those are starting as early as September 5th, 6th, and 7th. So sign up now if you want to be involved with that. If you have your rosters, we are rolling registration for those out slowly. But we will have those all out in the next couple days, actually, for the entirety of the preseason, as well as the regular season for you to start signing up for. For now, we just ask that you create that organization. You start getting your players on the rosters themselves. And as part of the roster, you can basically put their individual name. So say, for example, you have someone named Josh. So you can just put Josh, and that'll work. For the next step, if you want to go above and beyond, you can have your individual players sign up for the League Spot platform, in which case then you'll just basically give them, there's an invite link on your organization for that specific team that you will copy, send to the player, and then they will basically take what was previously Josh, and they will have the full Josh, their gamer tag, their game, or their links to it all and everything there. It is not necessary, but we ask that you please at least put their first name and ideally their gamer tag on your rosters, and we'll go from there. For roster lock-ins, I know you guys had some previous questions for that. We ask that you have your roster locked in at least 1 hour before the match. We do this just so that we are able to keep track of the rosters so that it's fair to both teams and everyone understands who is playing which matches. There's going to be a whole slew of questions for these. I have a feeling for it. Don't be afraid to take them over to the Discord. Me and my team of tournament admins will be watching that and responding to any questions you may have there. Additionally, if you have any platform specific concerns or problem once you are signed up, there we will have League Spot specifically on staff for any tournament days. They have less than a 5-minute response time, and we will be able to handle any chats that are elevated to them if there is a platform specific problem. But the first line of defense will be myself. If you have any specific questions, please let me know on Discord, and I will relay them to our team for specific answers.
So to maybe answer some questions and to go over some basics, just make sure you fully understand it. If you are interested in signing up for preseason or our regular season, click that first link. Make an organization for yourself. Name it after your full school name. To reiterate what Sam said, seriously, put your full school name in there, because there are middle schools and high schools that have the exact same name. So please make sure you put high school or middle school if you're here. To answer how does gamertag work for Mario Kart 8 or Smash Bros, we just need to be able to identify the individual students. So that's why we have you put gamertag in there. It's not necessarily like has to be on your Switch so they can see the gamertag. That's not really what it is. It's just for us to be able to know what students are playing.
There is also specific rules around gamer tags within the rules under, I believe it's eligibility, equipment, and player requirements under section 3. Player usernames and nicknames is very thoroughly outlined. The biggest thing is please make sure to keep your nicknames clean. I don't want any gross or unruly names. So we may come through and filter some of the names out if that is the case. But overall, let me see if I can find the specific quote for this. During an official match, all players are to use an in-game tag that matches at least one member of their rosters so that everyone can follow along with the game without being misled. Fake nicknames are strictly forbidden. This includes placeholder account names. There is an exception to this rule that includes school property and equipment that has special restrictions around it, around account management, and you're unable to change your names easily. So for example, if your school has like 4 switches that you can't change the account for, that is reasonable. Just make sure to relay that in the chat before you start your match so that it doesn't look like you are posthumously doing it and trying to hide something.
And to answer another question that came in, will we be providing step-by-step instructions? We won't be, but League Spot already has. They're already created for you on their YouTube. So actually that bit.ly leaguespot-tutorials links you to their YouTube. Some of them might not be relevant to you. Some of them are about creating your own season and that sort of thing. But a lot of them are about how to create a team, how to have students sign up, that sort of thing. Or how to have players sign up is what they would say. But there are really good in-depth tutorials on there. I swear I played around with it for 10 minutes and was able to figure out everything. So hopefully it is not too confusing or there's not anything that's too crazy.
Substitutes. Oh, this is a fun one. Oh boy, there is a whole section dedicated to rosters and substitutes and the different members of a roster, etc. We have added a new role for coaches specifically. We know that there was a lot of captains and coaches, and there was some conflation between them. So, for example, you are allowed to have a captain and a coach. I know some of you guys prefer to have your students be the captain and be able to speak on behalf of their team. And we have empowered you to be able to do that within the rules. And for you or a specific other administrator to basically ask or to act as a team coach and help manage the teams. Additionally, for substitutes, under section 4.4 of that rule set, there's a whole outline for that. The TLDR is basically you can have as many people on your roster, but you have to define which ones are going to be on your roster, including one additional sub. There's specific rules for when you can bring in that sub for each title. For example, like Mario Kart 8, you can sub someone out between the races. For Rocket League, it has to be between the games. It can be part of the same series. There's a lot of specific granular rules that I'm not going to dive into here, but just know that it has to be a part of your roster declaration before you begin your match.
Yes, League Spot will have you lock in that roster an hour before. That's put in your subs, basically. Hopefully. To answer that, hopefully specific question, but substitutes are a big question, always. So hopefully our rule sets and Sam have covered that thoroughly if you need it, if you have any more questions.
Do note, I just reviewed it. It says 15 minutes. It is 1 hour beforehand.
We will
I will
change
make
that.
a revision to that.
Sweet. Oh, I literally had a page here for questions on League Spot. Any more as we go on? This is just how we're doing preseason and regular season. If you are not interested in either of those, do not worry about it at all. The last few minutes do not apply, except for the substitutes ruling, which will apply in person actually. But okay. The next question I want to answer are A, where do I access all of the things like the recording for this, which is our Google Drive, which can be accessed on this bit.ly link here. Where do I get the rule sets, the playbook, all of that stuff, Zoom backgrounds, our logo, things like that are all available to you on our public Google Drive, which is resources is here. And then registrations. So how do you register for regional events and for the spring celebration? This is going to be done in a very new way this year, but hopefully one that is a lot easier for you guys. So I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen so that I can pull up another site to go over with you guys. All right, so what is going to happen is after today, you guys gave me an email in the form you filled out, thank you, of where to give Google Drive permissions to, because you're all going to get a folder that looks like this, that has all of your registration information in it. The most important thing is this list, which if you click into it, has space for you to have all of your students registered with us. So you'll put in their first name, last name, email, gamer tag, all this important stuff, and then whether they are attending the events or not. And this is it. This is how you register for the events. You're telling me if they attend the events or not. You'll notice we ask for things like media release forms and code of conduct forms. We do need those, again, to be signed this year by your students. And you'll just tell us that you have them uploaded into these folders over here. You'll put the code of conduct forms in here and the media release forms in here. You can have them on one big long document if you want. You can have them in individual documents if you want, but they're available on there. And then we require a few other things. So for example, if they're attending the regional event, I need to know why they're attending the regional event. So are they a Mario Kart player? Are they a Rocket League player? Are they a Smash player? If you leave them all empty, I'm going to assume they're a coding student. We ask for demographic information as well. This is so you guys don't have to give it to us at the end of the year. If your school district has any issue with us having this personal information, we do have data privacy agreements on file, and we will be able to make sure that yours has one on file as well. So please email me if there are any questions or concerns with data privacy there. We do have DPAs. If you do not want to ask each of your students to come up to you and fill this out individually, you can use the form that I have put into each of your folders. Send this out to your students. They can fill it out. the information on that form goes to this tab down here, student responses, and you can just copy and paste it into here. You will still have to select whether they are attending each event, but hopefully that's a lot easier than having each of them do it. I also have an adult registration tab. So if you if you are attending these things, which you should be, we also need media release forms and code of conduct forms from you and from any adult who is attending. So if you have other chaperones who will be there, if your principal is going to come, anyone like that, because these are events that will be filmed, we will need them to fill out these forms as well. And then the last tab down here is numbers. So you'll see it tells me right now I have 1 student registered. That's because I literally have 1 line filled out. The biggest information that you might want to know is that your students for attending the regional events, remember that it maxes out at 17, and that is specific for each team. So if this number is ever over 17, I'm going to start emailing you and asking you questions and telling you that that's not right. So this is how you are doing all of the forms. If you want to access the media release forms and code of conduct forms, they are linked on these forms here, or I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint and the links are going to be on there as well. And the PowerPoint will be shared with you. And I can share these links individually as well. Do we need to do this for students in our teams that are competing? This is for your whole club. So you are basically just letting us know what students are in your club. This is for everyone to do for everything. It is literally so we know who is out there in our clubs, and then so we know who of those are attending our events. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that, but questions on that form. I see some for that. Any rules on 9th grade students? Not necessarily, no. They are considered high school students as well. Where do you access the drive? I'm going to give you permission to access your specific folder after this event. So, but if you don't have access by the end of this week, please email me. Yeah, media releases for all students that are attending events. If you want to give it to us for all students, that's great. I would take it. But we're hoping as many as possible are attending the spring celebration at least. So we would love them for all of that. Here's those forms again to the media release form and the code of conduct form. And again, we need those from adults attending too. That's why there's a tab specifically for adults. Question. Sorry, I thought I saw someone who had a question. Chat. Okay. Again, if you don't have access to your school specific one by the end of this week, please let me know. For 7th through 12th grade schools, we actually just consider you a high school. So put your students in teams as you wish. Do with that information as you wish. Yeah, they would effectively be considered high school students. We have a few exceptions to that. I don't think any of you are here, or if you were at our event yesterday. All right. And like I said, DPA, if you need a data privacy agreement on file with us, if there are any issues with this, please let us know and we will get that sorted out. Questions on registration still? Cool. We're hoping this is a lot easier of a process than all of your students signing up for SCED and then you having to ask me what students applied and signed up for SCED and that sort of thing, and having to do that multiple times for multiple events. Hopeful that this is a solution to that. Okay. I want to put this slide up here with you, knowing that it is not your schedule, it is my schedule. You do not need to be at all of these things. This is just so you have an idea of what the whole school year looks like. If you did every single optional and not optional thing, which you literally cannot do, none of you should be at all of the regional events, for example. And honestly, you guys are not students, so you shouldn't be at the Space Station gaming workshops. Your students should be. You don't necessarily need to be. This is all. There's just what the school year looks like, just for you to look at and screenshot as needed. Yeah, you can be at the SSG workshops if you really want to. Okay, this is actually kind of my last slide, so I just want to have an open question time here for just a minute. Questions and concerns. You feel overwhelmed. I'm so sorry. This is a lot of information. Cassidy, league spot. Is there a specific question there?
I guess I'm just a little confused. I see a bunch of organizations on there, but I cannot figure out how to register my organization. I can just sign up under someone else's organization.
That is incorrect. So I'm just going to send the link, I believe, in chat here, if you would. Sweet.
Okay,
To register your organization.
thanks.
It's a specific link, so it could be just you're on the wrong one. Yeah, I'll just write bare minimum, attend your regional event, attend the spring celebration. This could be a 2-day thing if you really wanted it to be, although it's 3 days now because I've taken up an hour and a half of your time today. The next kickoff meeting, kind of the next big thing to be aware of, is September 25th, the student kickoff meeting. That's when I'll have all your students in, if you want them to be there for me to go over what this looks like from their side. And your MOUs are due on the 15th if you haven't gotten that to me. Okay, I am going to send it over to Josh to do our giveaway. We're giving away 3 $20 Shields gift cards. After that, you are free to disperse or stick around if you want to ask questions specific to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Maddie. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you all. Those of you who filled out the attendance forms, I have all your names in here. We have about 50 of you, so I believe that includes everyone. So we're just going to go ahead and hop into the first one. Jake Robinson, winner number 1. Perfect. We'll do 2 more. Chris Walter, winner number 2. Well, and we saved the best for last, so number 3. Winner number 3 is Tori. So we have all your info already. So congratulations to the winners. We'll get in touch with you and make sure you get your gift cards.
Yeah, be on the lookout for an email from me, and I'll ask you for where we should send these. All right. Thank you all for your time. I know that was a lot of information. I hope it was very, very helpful. Please stick around if you want to ask some questions here, but otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Oh, thank you all.
So I do have a question, just Smash Bros again.
Yes, sir.
And Steve specifically. So I have students that if Steve isn't banned, they're contemplating learning Phantom MLG so that they can use it. Like you were kind of hesitant as we were talking. Should I just tell them, like, if they do that, Steve will be banned? How are we looking at that? Is it just because nobody did it at the last one that we're leaving him open?
I'm gonna let Sam answer that if you can, Sam.
Howdy. So this is something that is decently technical within the Smash community. I would have to defer to our specific admin for Smash Bros specifically, and that's kind of why I gave you a roundabout vague answer. To my understanding, it is something that is incredibly difficult to pull off. I mean, it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like wave dashing where it's like top tier, like you have to know it to be a pro level, but it is difficult. There's a part of me in the back of my head, and this is the active debate that I'm having that I'm going to have to take to my Smash Bros TA, of basically, it's something that's difficult to pull off, and it's a learned skill that you have to learn and develop and do. You should award the player for learning it. So the other side of it, though, is if it truly is an exploit and no other character can do it, then it should be banned. Which, in this case, after doing research during this meeting, it looks like it is specifically to Steve and it should be banned. I'm not going to give an official ruling in this meeting, but I will take it to my Smash Bros coach or TA and go from there.
That would be great, because I know a couple of them have looked at it. From what I understand, it's just holding B while you do aerials for parts of it.
You do have to time it right, but yes.
Yeah. I just know a lot of my club is really into playing like Kazuya and Terry and a lot of the very input specific characters. And so they're already very inclined to learning these inputs and doing that. So
are you sure they shouldn't be playing like Tekken or Street Fighter?
If we had them, they probably would, honestly.
I'm a big Tekken fan.
Plays it too, but cool. Yeah, that'll be good. I'll just kind of discourage them from learning the text for now and wait for further info on it.
Honestly, if they want to, I know most locals don't ban it, so they
maybe
could go
just let
clean
it
up
go.
some locals.
Okay, cool. That'll be good. I just wanted a clear answer to give them on why it is or isn't allowed. So thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nisi from Ogden High, and I had a question about if I could make an appointment with somebody. I'm the new esports coach at Ogden High, and I am incredibly overwhelmed. And
So valid.
and so I just wanted to, I came in a little late. I was about 15 minutes late. And so I wondered if I can reach out to somebody for like a time to like do a phone call or something where after I go through everything, I can make questions. Okay. That'd be great.
I'm gonna throw my email in the chat here. For sure, go ahead and email me, and we'll have the recording of this up as well, so you can always go back and reference it should you ever need it. But this was is definitely information heavy, and I'm sure missing the first 15 minutes is also overwhelming. So
thank you so much.
Absolutely. But yeah, we'll get you set up. Don't you worry. It's a lot.
So along those same lines, because I also just got asked to do this and we're late.
Glad you could be here, Todd.
Yeah, glad. I saw the link about 5 minutes after it started, and I'm like, oh, good. Let's jump in and find
Hop
out.
right in.
So I'm gonna ask the most noobish question ever. So these regional things, are they actually at the universities or?
Yes.
Okay. And then equipment wise, when I put in a PO for what to purchase, if we want to do Smash Brothers, they actually are playing it directly on Switches. It's not online through some other things.
Yes, so they'll be on Switches. They'll need so the Switch itself, controllers, and an online membership.
Okay. Just those three things, and they can participate hardware wise, and then I can deal with anything else later.
Yeah, a dock with Ethernet. Audra put that in. Some docks already come with that. So in theory, when you buy a Switch, some of them will have that. Okay. DLC for the game. Good point, Steven. Smash does have downloadable content like extra characters and things. If you can get that other teams will have that.
Well,
yeah.
Yep. Just as long as I don't have to go back to my principal a second time and say, I need this equipment in addition to everything else.
Yeah, and Audra's totally correct. We actually have a page in the playbook on this, on all the equipment and the pricing breakdown.
If I can ever find the playbook, then that would be awesome too.
It's on.
Thank you very much.
I think we'll send a link so you have it.
That would be great.
I can find it for you even right now. Let's go. All right. Oh, we sent the link at the same time. Wow, cute. Any other questions for people who are still in here?
Hey, so I don't want to be this one on the side, but I do have a conversation to have about the no secondary platform payment.
Yes. Audra, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I think what you're referring to is the clause in the MOU that says not to use our grant money for another platform.
Correct.
And so that doesn't mean you can't go do another platform, right? We just don't want the funding that we're providing when we're providing a way for you to compete for free to be used to pay for another platform. We want that money to go towards supporting your club in other ways because we've invested so much in creating a free opportunity for competitive play.
Okay, so let me put my counter argument on the platform here. I am a football coach, so I cannot participate in anything until I find a secondary advisor who magically decides over the last 2 years they secretly wanted to help with esports. until November. So I'm losing a month of play for my kids at a minimum. Secondly, first year we did the exact same titles you have offered. I had 16 kids who were willing to register. Last year, I expanded to some of the offerings that Play VS had, and I exploded to 37. So by not being able to offer Play VS titles and limiting it to the titles we have, I'm effectively killing my program.
I mean, again, you're welcome.
And I can't charge enough to even come close to covering Play VS because we're stuck in this limbo land where we're not a CTSO, we're not an activities association, so we have to organize as a club. So the maximum fee I can even legally charge these kids is $15. So I'm either stuck in this place where I lose kids, shrink my program because we're not playing titles they want to play. And now I am down to, okay, we have our 3 teams for the 3 sports. Losing participation from kids who otherwise have nothing else that they find tying themselves to the school. Or I'm now trying to beg people for $1,500. Do you see what that means?
Yeah, I understand. And that's honestly the same predicament that I found myself in, because while we found a way to charge more, I knew that I didn't want to charge my students more, right? Because that also does the same thing where it excludes a lot of the kids who could use this more than like they're the ones that need it the most. Can they do a fundraiser? I know that's such a terrible
I
answer.
just know that we're gonna we can try to spin our wheels on that, but and I understand where you guys are coming from. I totally do. It's just if we had an expanded platform outside of 3 games, I can see justifying that. Even if I just had somebody, and this isn't on your guys', and this is just me trying to figure out my situation, but even if I had somebody that I could guarantee is going to be there starting tomorrow, and I could have them consider doing preseason and off-season. Now it's 6 extra weeks. That's easier to justify to the kids that are just playing those sports. And then now we just have to figure out our other kids. And like I said, I knew there may not be room. I just wanted to voice maybe a different opinion that you guys may not have heard from other schools. And I don't know what other schools face the type of issues we have where we had no budget. We can't really get a budget. So
a lot are operating off of the grant money and then what they're able to charge kids. Otherwise relying on donations or fundraisers.
Okay.
So
like I said, I just wanted to bring it up and
I appreciate
at least
it.
have my 2 cents put forward, but we'll figure it out with whatever way we do. I just wanted to let you know what the effects of that would do for certain schools.
Oh, that's good insight to share. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Other questions? There's like 8 of you on here, and I just want to make sure you all get heard if you're here, or if you're just chilling to see what questions get asked.
I'm just chilling to see what questions get asked that I didn't think of.
It's a good place to be. We like to hang out. Glad to see you here, Tony. All right. Well, if everyone's just chilling, I think that is all the questions that we have then. Glad to see you all here, but I think we'll say goodbye for now. Come back with any more questions, send them to my email or come to the student kickoff meeting. Thank you all.